Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging in Place Directory podcast. This is episode number 62. Can't believe we've done 62 already. I wanted to talk today about one of the aspects of aging in place that is so difficult for a lot of people, and that is the financial part. How do you fund, or how can you fund some of these renovations? Now, sometimes it's a simple renovation, like just adding a ramp or some grab bars or getting a lift chair. Those types of things are usually minor and simple. But sometimes it requires a lot more, widening doorways or making stairs, lift chairs or not lift chairs, but chair lifts on stairs, or even a residential elevator. Sometimes it requires major renovations in a home, moving a wall or anything like that. So how do you fund that? How can you possibly stay in your place, make it safe so that you can stay there longer, as long as possible, and better yet, be independent for as long as possible? So I'm going to talk to you today about some funding options that are available here in the U.S. Now, I do want to say I am recording this in August of 2025, the end of the month. And what I want to say is that things are changing very quickly here in the U.S., especially with Medicare and Medicaid and some government funding types of things. So hopefully these will not change when this podcast becomes live, which I think is scheduled for October. But either way, I just had to get rid of her. Either way, I do hope that they stay, but I will give you some resources at the end. So if you're watching this on YouTube, they'll be in the description. If you're listening to this on a podcast, they'll be in the show notes. But I do hope that it helps you, because I think it's so important for the 90+% of seniors who do want to age in place. It's so important for them to be able to plan on how can they fund it. All right, so first I want to talk about some government programs. And these are things like Medicaid waivers, and I'm reading this off a list because there's so many of them. But in many states, Medicaid can pay for ramps. They can pay for some bathroom changes, door widening, all of this if it keeps you safe at home. You can call your area agency on aging in your area to see what the Medicaid in your state would pay for, if, of course, you're on Medicaid. Medicare Advantage plans, some plans, not regular Medicare, I'm talking about the Advantage plans, some of those do now cover things like grab bars or bathroom safety equipment. I'm talking about like shower benches and shower chairs and maybe handheld shower heads. So call your plan and find out what they offer, if they offer anything as far as home modification to help you age in place. PACE, which is the Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, is available in certain areas, not all in the U.S., and they may pay for home safety updates if needed in order to keep you living at home. Now, it may require a doctor's prescription. I'm not sure. I am positive that every state has a different requirement in order to qualify for PACE, but find out from your area agency on aging on how to qualify for that, or what is available in your area as far as that goes. Now, if you're a veteran, and I do wish we had more benefits for veterans here, it's a shame that we don't, but if you're a veteran, there are SAH and SHA grants available. These are large grants, up to $120,000 roundabout, for major home changes if you have service-related disabilities. Then there's also the HISA grant for veterans, and that's a smaller grant, around $7,000 for things like roll-in showers, ramps, wider doorways, things like that. Now, families of veterans may qualify as well because, as we all know, I hope you know, there are a lot of seniors are aging older than their past generations. So what's happening is as seniors are living into their 90s and 100 plus, that their children are now seniors. So seniors are caring for seniors. So families of veterans can be seniors, and they may qualify as well for some of these veterans programs to modify the home in order to age in place. So in your area, contact the Veterans Service Office to find out what the story is in your particular area. Housing and community help. This is mostly for rural areas. I get a lot of emails from all my websites from seniors who live in rural areas who are finding it extremely difficult to not only find appropriate help for them, or home modification companies, or even home safety assessments, because they live in such rural areas. There just isn't that community around them, and that really, in my opinion, is one of the reasons to not age in place, but instead to find another community where you have that places close to you, everything from medical care to to help with home care, all of that closer to you. It could mean moving to a suburb or a smaller city nearby, and then age in place there. But a lot of seniors do like to stay, and I don't blame them, where they spent many years. All right, so for these rural communities, there is the USDA Rural Housing Repair Grants and or loans. Some are grants, some are loans. And seniors 62 plus with low income in rural areas can get up to $10,000 in grants or a very low interest loan. Now, what qualifies as low income? I don't know what the qualifications are. I'm sure it changes from state to state, but you can find out in your area by contacting your local housing department or even AAA. There are city and county housing departments that offer small grants or low-cost loans again for seniors. And then there are weatherization programs, usually for energy savings, but some will also fix some small safety issues like lighting or ventilation in the home in order to make it safer to age in place. So reach out to some aging communities in your area. Support groups are a great place to get some of this information to see what is available in your area. The next section to look at are nonprofits and charities. Now, Rebuilding Together is a program like this. It's volunteers. It's sort of like Habitat for Humanity. Volunteers make free repairs and safety upgrades for qualifying seniors. Again, qualification is different depending on where you live. And then, of course, there's Habitat for Humanity. You can they not only build houses, they also repair houses as well. Not all chapters do this, but quite a few do. So check out your local Habitat for Humanity and find out what they offer. And if they don't offer it, they may have information for you of who does or who can help. AARP Community Challenge Grants. They have small, quick projects for things like ramps and lighting, usually through local contractors, builders, handymen, but they may be able to help to either finance it or help you to finance those types of things. Other tools that families and older adults can use are reverse mortgages, or they're also called home equity conversion mortgages, or HECM, HECM. Seniors who are 62 and older can use the equity in their home, if they've been living there a long time, it's a lot of equity, to pay for renovations. You don't make monthly payments, but the loan is repaid when you sell the house or you pass away, whichever comes first. Always want to get independent counseling on this in your area from a reverse mortgage broker. The beauty is that if you still do pay a mortgage on your home, this reverse mortgage takes the place of that mortgage. So if you're paying $500 a month or whatever for your mortgage, taking out a reverse mortgage eliminates your need to pay that $500 a month, and it gives you the money to do any renovations in your home. You don't have to pay that reverse mortgage back. You can, but you don't have to, so that when the house is sold or you pass away, then that reverse mortgage is paid for by the cost, the sale of the house. Now, if the sale of the house is less than what is owed on the reverse mortgage, you do not, or your family does not have to pay for that either. That is eaten up by the reverse mortgage company. They are liable for that. So for a lot of seniors, especially if you're in a low income area, time in your life and you need that money, it's a great way to get that income. To help you stay safe and live longer in your home independently. Another is a home equity loan or lines of credit. Now, families can borrow against the home and fund bigger renovations or, depending on what they have. But those they do have to pay back. It is a line of credit. I mean, it is like a secondary mortgage almost. And some states offer zero or very low interest rates on housing loans. So Massachusetts is one of those states, but you can look into and speak with a loan officer in your area and see what is available in your area if you can afford tacking on another loan payment or a loan payment to your monthly budget. That may be something that is viable for you. Tax savings are another issue that you can definitely think about when it comes to maybe not getting money to pay for something, but the amount of money you may have to pay out because of taxes. If a physician says that the change in the home is medically necessary, like a roll-in shower, if you find yourself that now you're in a wheelchair, or perhaps a ramp, if you find that you're in order to get into your home, you have to go up 2-3 stairs and you're in a wheelchair, then these costs can be tax deductible. Check with your accountant in your state to see what is, viable in your area. And then some states and some counties actually reduce property taxes for seniors or disabled homeowners. So check, I know the county that I live in Georgia, does that. So definitely want to look at that. And you probably have to be 62 or 65 and older. So I would say contact your area agency on aging. They ask about Medicaid waivers, about local grants, nonprofits in your area, and get the pamphlet or information from them. It may already be on their website, but check with them. If you're a veteran, call the VA, your local VA office. You probably already have their number in your Rolodex. If you live in a rural area, then you want to contact your local USDA 504 program. I'll have a link to that below. If it's on YouTube, on the description. If you're listening to this on podcast, it'll be in the show notes. And then, of course, talk to your doctor or an occupational therapist, about getting a letter of medical necessity. And this helps to unlock a lot of funding that is available in your area. And you want to talk with your accountant, your financial planner, a reverse mortgage broker, a loan broker, and find out what the story is and how it would affect you tax-wise, how would it affect you financially, if you were to go for a loan or a home equity loan or a reverse mortgage, and what will the end result be? What will it look like? Will you be paying less? Will you be paying more? What's the story? And once you can crunch those numbers and have it all nicely laid out, then you'll have a better idea of which of these options works for you. But there definitely are ways that you can reach out and get money for these very, very valuable modifications to make your home safer, so that you can stay in it longer, so that you can be as safe for as long as possible, and best of all, to be as independent for as long as possible. Because tripping over a rug or bumping into some furniture which causes you to fall, or falling down some stairs, any of those little moments, it only takes, I worked in head injury for 12 years, and I know it only takes a second for something to happen that can affect you for the rest of your life. So why not try to prevent those silly little seconds that can do that, and give yourself an amazing rest of your life. All right, I hope this information was helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the Aging in Place directory if you found this information useful, or any of the podcasts that we put out useful. Please share it with your friends, share it with your family, and we're doing our best to get as much information out there as possible to help you live a long, safe, and happy and independent life. All right, take care. Bye.